A new pet called Sneezy is being added in the Clash of Clans update, alongside a lot of new troop and defense levels. Everything you see on your screen is getting an upgrade, so let's go through them all, starting with the defense levels. The Monolith. 300,000 Dark Elixir. You will need more Dark Elixir when it comes to the new pet and other pet upgrades. However, it will be gaining extra hit points, 16 extra damage per second, but also 1 extra percentage point for the extra damage, and this is where it is very powerful versus higher HP troops. Any of the upgrade costs and times that I show you in this video are not including the gold pass perks, so obviously it could be a little bit cheaper. You will notice as well the Monolith can be supercharged. I'll quickly go over those at the same time as the level upgrades. However, the first supercharge level, as ever, provides extra base damage. This one being 150,000 Dark Elixir, but only 5 days to upgrade. Then your second supercharge level is cheaper, but longer to upgrade, and this is where you get an increase in hit points. As ever, I would recommend upgrading all of the regular levels first. However, when it comes to superchargers, the Monolith would be top of my list. Moving across to the Inferno Towers, we actually had the previous supercharge levels from the Town Hall 16 level of Inferno Towers removed with this update because there is a new level. Now, when we do upgrade this, it is 22 million gold with 15.5 days, 400 hit points, and 300 extra damage per second, but this is when you look at the single target mode. Still a very good increase in damage. However, when you move across to the multi-mode, just look at how much the bar is upgrading. An extra 20 damage per second, and obviously some extra hit points as well. So a big boost when it comes to the multi-target Inferno mode, and you can see aesthetically the difference between the previous level and the new one. When it comes to the supercharge, the damage per second for the single, you get an extra 200 and an extra 10 damage per second for the multi-mode. As I've said previously, I would always go through and supercharge all of your defenses to level 1 once you actually have the base levels done, and then move across to supercharge level 2, because that is where you always get the hit point increase. From there, we only have one other base level of defense upgrades, and that is for the Builder Hut. Obviously, we have numerous of them around your base, but each one will cost 21 million gold with 15 days and 6 hours, again excluding gold pass perks. But it not only gets an increase in hit points and the DPS, but the repair per second as well. This essentially means that the builder will repair other defenses faster, so it will be harder to take them down. Obviously, once we do complete that upgrade, you can see moving away from the red jungle theme from Town Hall 16 to the blue and gold theme for Town Hall 17. As ever, you can supercharge the builder huts as well. However, you can expect almost an entire year out of these supercharge levels, because that is how supercharge levels work. They do not get removed until the building gets another actual level. Moving to the other defensive upgrade, whilst it is not a base level, the multi-gear tower, which was added in the previous update just in February, now can be supercharged. The first level will add an extra 10 DPS to the longer ranged mode, but it will add 34 damage per second to the cannon mode, which is essentially 4 extra damage per hit. 11.5 million gold, 6 days to upgrade. Second supercharge level, 8 million gold and 7 days for that upgrade. There are also other buildings getting upgrades. The first one being the Dark Barracks for 20 million elixir. That upgrade will be 12 days, and you will have to tune in tomorrow to find out what is inside that building, so be sure to subscribe for sneak peek number 2. We do only have a small percentage of viewers subscribe to the channel, so if you enjoy my Clash of Clans content, I would obviously recommend doing so. Taking a look at the building though, you are welcome to give your guesses as to what you feel that troop might be. However, we are also getting an extra level to the army camps. Each one will be 21 million elixir. Obviously gives a little bit extra hit points, but clearly this is an offensive upgrade because we get 5 extra total troop capacity. This should be massive on your priority list. I would say before you even go to any of the defenses, upgrade all of your army camps. They are 15-day upgrades. So if you do have any book of building, you might want to use them on the army camps. I know I certainly will. But what this means is you can have an extra 20 housing space, taking the maximum capacity now to 340. I'll be honest, when I first seen this, I did not think it was necessary. I'm still a little bit on the fence about that. Probably something I will discuss on my second channel after the update. However, the next upgrade is for the pet house, and this unlocks the new pet Sneezy, which I will be going over exactly how this works, breaking down the mechanics for you. However, this is 22 million elixir with 15.5 days. In terms of upgrades, whilst I think this pet will be useful, you will get it unlocked at level 1, so you might want to upgrade it in the background before you use it. One thing I did not mention is that we will be getting 75 more wall upgrades to the maximum of level 18. This means that now the amount of walls you can have to the max level is 250, and there will be 100 more levels that will be staggered across future updates. Diving into the laboratory though, we do have some troop upgrades and a spell upgrade. Firstly, the Yeti. This is probably what I will upgrade first. I use the Yeti here and there on the outside of the base for funneling. Gains an extra 200 hit points and 20 damage per second, 22.5 million elixir, and 15 days to upgrade. If you have a Hammer of Fighting, I would not suggest using it on the Yeti because this is the only elixir upgrade for this update. It really comes down to your strategy, but I think for a lot of players, the would be the first upgrade to choose, gaining an extra 120 hit points and 12 damage per second. However, probably more importantly, every time you upgrade a regular troop that has a super troop variant, they get upgraded as well. So the super hog rider also gets upgraded to level 14, which we've already started to see a little bit more in the Town Hall 17 meta. So I'm excited to see whether the hog riders or the super hog riders make a resurgence. If hog riders are not quite your strategy though, maybe you use either the regular golem or the ice golem in your attacks. The ice golem is the most expensive, so if you are going to use a Hammer of Fighting, this is the troop to use it on. It does get an extra 150 hit points and 4 damage per second, plus this is on offense, it gets an extra half a second freezing impact. Defense, it actually already has a reduced freezing time and it is not impacted by this new level. If you are someone that uses hero dive strategies though, the golem might be your first choice. I love the appearance of the level 14 golem, gaining some extra hit points, damage when destroyed, and also DPS. And on top of that, obviously, the golemites that you spawn also get upgraded from this as well. This will be a lot of dark elixir that you will be requiring for all of the upgrades though. One that I probably would not upgrade is the bat spell. Even with dragon style attacks, I'm not sure I've seen anyone using the bat spell at Town Hall 17, but if you do, or you find that bat waves are coming back into fashion, it does appear to just be way too much splash at Town Hall 17 to make that viable though. However, they do get an extra level and one extra bat for you. Hooray! This will be bottom of the priority list for me. Let's now move across to the pet house. Firstly, we have the unicorn getting 5 extra levels. So we'd already had Lassie, the Electro Owl, and the Mighty Yak get 5 extra levels previously. The unicorn did not. Despite it being one of the original pets, the unicorn isn't used as much anymore. It is still used. Me personally, I use Frosty on my Archer Queen instead. Perhaps these extra levels will help out. Obviously, if you do have hero levels to finish getting to the max, I would focus on those first. However, if you can, with the 0 training time, now you can just farm to your heart's content. I would obviously try and keep the pet house researching because it does not require a builder to upgrade the pets. When it comes to the new pet, Sneezy, it is a bat that is sick, spawning boogers. And I'll quickly show you here all of the upgrade levels. Obviously, you do get to have an increase in the amount of hit points and the damage per second that the pet itself has. But obviously, each level improves the spawned boogers as well. At maximum level of 10, though, it has 4,650 hit points. This is way more than the Electro Owl, and in fact the third highest out of any of the pets, and that is not including the 2 spawned units, and that is 2 spawned units at any one time. Over the course of the attack, it can spawn more than that, and which they have 2,000 hit points of their own. The spawned units do 150 damage per second. The Sneezy Pet itself does not actually attack until the hero is destroyed, so whilst it has 450 damage per second, that doesn't always take effect. Taking a look at Sneezy in action though, once you deploy the hero that you have it assigned to, it essentially is a flying pet that stays well back from the hero. It does not engage in any buildings. It will quickly spawn the first Booger troop, which will then start attacking the nearest building. It is not defense targeting or anything like that. And then every 10 seconds following that, Sneezy will sneeze another Booger troop. You can think of these similar to a minion in that they will trigger the red air mines. However, they will not trigger the seeking air mines. So unfortunately, you won't be able to use them as Coco Loons. Whilst the Sneezy Pet itself will actually trigger seeking air mines, unfortunately, its range is slightly larger than that of a healer. So your healer would hit those air mines first, and you can't use the Sneezy to tank them. You can actually clone the spawned Booger troop. They appear to be 4 capacity because I was cloning 10 of them. However, for 3 spell capacity, it's not really worth doing this. When the hero goes down, the Sneezy Pet kicks into action and goes to the nearest defense, which is nice as well, being a defense targeting pet. And because it has a good amount of hit points and damage, it can actually get some pretty good value. However, should it take damage and go down before your hero does, it will not activate. This means you do have to be a little bit tactful in order to protect it. For example, should you have it on the Archer Queen or the Grand Warden and you turn your hero invisible, therefore the pet takes damage, well then you're clearly not getting the best value, so you definitely need to be aware of that. In terms of strategy though, I do think it will be best used on either the Archer Queen or the Warden, and essentially when you are doing those charge style attacks, since it is an air pet. The Booger troop, it will trigger the red air mines, getting rid of some of those to help the healers. They are not going to lure the ice golems from the clan castle. That's one problem I sometimes have with Frosty as I'm walking down the flank. On the other side, you do have the Warden walks as well, because a lot of the time the pets you would put with the Warden would end up going down beforehand, especially if you use invisibility spells on your Warden. Yes, we have the new unicorn levels, which could be a good alternative as well, but the Sneezy Pet will stay behind the Warden, and whilst it's gradually spawning the Booger troops, that's good because Warden walks tend to go on for quite some time, so you're gradually spawning those troops and getting extra value. Final part of today's sneak peek, actually, we do have 4 more achievements for taking down some of the new defensive buildings. It is nice that they are finally being added. It gives us a chance to get a little bit more free gems. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for sneak peek number 2. But in the meantime, YouTube has a recommended video of mine on your screen. Enjoy the rest of your day.